Hello and welcome to the semifinals here at Grand Prix Hartford. Marie Bartholdi in the booth, joined by Jacob Van Lunen. We're going to take a look at Matt Nass versus Gene Friedman, Ironworks combo versus Burn. All right, JVL, which deck do you think is favored?
I think Ironworks combo is the favored deck simply because it is a bit faster. I think just in a vacuum, Ironworks combo is, a turn 3-4 combo deck, whereas Burn is usually on its own winning around turn 4-5. Gene Friedman does get to be on the play, being the 6th seed over the 7th seed, and that may give him a little bit of an edge here. So that's definitely something that's going to help Gene out. The one thing that is a problem for Matt Nass is that he's not interacting with the board much, and a card like Monastery Swiftspear can end up representing 2-3 damage per turn for Gene Friedman, and that means that he's almost certainly going to be able to get it done by turn 4, and Matt Nass is going to need a very fast combo here in order to win.
Terrarian and Mox Opal on the table for Matt Nass. What do we need to keep an eye out for to kind of see if Matt Nass is assembling the combo?
So the big thing we're going to need to look for is the combination of Krark Clan Ironworks and Scrap Trawler. With Matt Nass needing to go off early on in the game, ooh, looks like things are getting very aggressive here.
Engineered explosives there.
And that's an engineered explosives just for 0, and it was to turn on the Opal so that Matt could get that Mind Stone on the battlefield. If I'm interested to see what Matt's plan is here. And again, the things we're looking for are the combination of Scrap Trawler and Krark Clan Ironworks.
2 cards left in hand for Matt Nass. Is it enough to assemble something? Like, you look at his board and you say to yourself, how is that doing anything?
Yeah, it's a pile of do nothing.
That eventually does something very powerful. All right, Lightning Helix here from Friedman.
And Matt already down to 14 here. Time is of the essence. A very aggressive Opal draw last turn, or very aggressive Opal play last turn from Matt.
Matt, of course, chaining top 8s with this KCI deck. Last GP that he played in, that was Modern. Managed to top 8 with this deck. Another Mind Stone here. Chromatic Star. Passes back to Gene.
So if I saw correctly, I believe Matt is about to win this game on the 3rd turn.
Really?
I think his last 2 cards are Krark Clan Ironworks and Scrap Trawler.
Oh, boy. All right, well, let's see it happen. Matt Nass taking some damage here down to 11.
And this Swiftspear with that trigger already at 2 power. Another pair of burn spells, plus the attack from the Swiftspear, could get Matt Nass all the way down to 1 life, just shy.
Wow.
Being able to win the game, but it's going to be a Burrow's Charm.
Burrow's Charm, here we go. Swing in.
Matt's going to fall to 4.
You're at 4.
Here it is. If he doesn't win this turn, Gene's probably winning.
Question, Eidolon of the Great Revel. If that's in play, what happens here?
That's a pretty rough one. Matt Nass is going to need to get that off the battlefield via engineered explosives. I don't see a circumstance in which Matt Nass can go off through Eidolon.
All right, here we go. Krark Clan Ironworks on the table. Scrap Trawler on the table.
And here we go.
It begins.
Yeah, I think that Eidolon of the Great Revel is definitely the most important card from Gene here, now that I think about the matchup. Again, not a matchup I've played. I've watched this deck quite a bit now in the booth, but it's so rare. I mean, I've played hundreds of matches of Modern on Magic Online in the past few months, and I've played against this deck maybe once or twice.
Right. I mean, it's kind of difficult to play online with all of the triggers that you have to go through, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
That might turn some people off.
There you see Scrap Trawler. key combo piece here. With that card, each of these Mind Stones that Matt sacrifices will get him back a Terrarion or a Chromatic Star. The Terrarion or Chromatic Star that he sacrifices will get him back a Mox Opal. This chain will generate a lot of mana and will allow Matt to go through his deck pretty aggressively, finding other artifacts which can then be sacrificed to return more artifacts back to his hand, and so on and so forth until he's able to assemble Pyrite Spellbomb with a massive amount of mana and just aim it at Gene Friedman 9 times here to deal that 17 points of damage.
Matt Nass, top 8 Pro Tour Kaladesh, 4 team Grand Prix top 8s, and 4 individual Grand Prix top 8s. There's a bunch of combo decks running around Modern.
Yeah, and this is one of the lesser seen combo strategies in Modern. He's looking for a 14 on a 12-sided dice. It doesn't exist. Finds the 2. There you go. Yeah, not many people have seen this deck, and I think the only person who's really experienced much success with the deck at all is Matt Nass. We're talking about somebody who top-8'd 2 Grand Prix in a row playing the same deck, and this fringe, weird deck that it seems nobody else can win with. So Matt Nass, he's been known as a combo master for a very long time. I remember close to 10 years ago now when he won, I believe it was a Grand Prix in California, playing an Elf combo deck that actually comboed pretty similarly to this in terms of the time that it took to combo off of the deck. And he has just been a combo master throughout the years. You're watching somebody in their element, hard at work, doing what they do best.
I interviewed somebody, I'm trying to remember who it was, who played this deck at the last Pro Tour. And, you know, I said to them, why this combo deck? Oh, because it's different, it's unique. Didn't have a lot of success, however, at the Pro Tour, but said I should probably just be playing Storm.
Interesting. I think Matt has won a bunch of games with this deck when I've watched him that I don't believe he could have won with Storm.
Sure.
Then again, the sequencing with this deck is very difficult. So let's just point out what's happening here. The Mirror Retriever, when it dies, you return an artifact from your graveyard back to your hand. So that, in conjunction with Scrap Trawler, can be sacrificed to return something that cost more than it to Matt Nass's hand, which he can then play and sacrifice using the Scrap Trawler trigger to return the Mirror Retriever back to his hand. And that creates a loop that allows him to return the Pirate Spellbomb back to his hand over and over and over again. And each time he does that, he's able to return a Mox Opal back to his hand because of the Scrap Trawler trigger, which will give him the red mana to sacrifice for 2 damage.
Demonstrating the loop there, Matt Nass takes the first game over Gene Friedman here in the semifinals. Let's take a look inside Gene Friedman's sideboard. What does he want to bring in against Clark Clan Ironworks?
So I think the big card for Gene here is a Rest in Peace. It's a card that Matt Nass is really going to need to use an Engineered Explosives to get off the table. Post-board, Matt Nass will have Nature's Claim if he wants it. I think he does want it simply because Eidolon of the Great Revel and Rest in Peace are so good against his deck. The other cards you look at that you might think would come in would be Destructive Revelries. However, simply destroying an artifact that is not Clarkline Ironworks is not going to be the best plan against Matt, and it may not be worth it for Gene to be leaving mana open and trying to be reactive. So I think Gene wants to mulligan aggressively for Eidolon of the Great Revel and or Rest in Peace and try to run over Matt. I think that's his best plan.
All right, let's take a look at Matt Nass's sideboard here with Ironworks combo. What is he interested in?
So looking at Matt's sideboard, I think that he's probably interested in bringing in Wormcoil Engine simply to have a way to win the game besides simply trying to combo out through something like an Eidolon or a Rest in Peace. He's also probably going to want to bring in Nature's Claim because it deals with that Eidolon and it deals with the Rest in Peace. Matt's deck is very concerned with what it is trying to do.
Right.
And he has to look at the opponent's deck and decide what the opponent can do to prevent him from doing his thing. And the thing that the red deck does is Eidolon and Rest in Peace. So that's what Matt's going to be trying to circumvent.
All right, post-sideboard, which deck do you think has the advantage?
So pre-sideboard, I'd said that I thought Matt Nass was favored, but I think I may have been wrong there. I think I overlooked just how good Eidolon is in this matchup. Matt did end up winning. He had a turn 3 kill. But the more I've stewed on the information, the more I've thought about it in my head, I think Eidolon is a really big factor here. I think Gene may be the favorite. However, you know, I don't think that it's really safe to bet against Matt Nass when he's playing a combo strategy, especially at a high-stakes level like this. Matt Nass is somebody who is very used to this level of pressure. We're talking about somebody who has 8 Grand Prix top 8s. We're talking about somebody who has, how many Pro Tour top 8s does he have? Just one. But still, a Pro Tour top 8 and 8 Grand Prix top 8s. Matt's been here before, where, you know, if most people are sitting in one of these seats playing a game of Magic for thousands of dollars, they're going to be shaking. This is a very nerve-wracking situation. For Matt, this is old hat at this point.
Update from some of our other tables, the semifinals, or one of our other tables. Michael Mapson up a game over Kellen Pastore, so Amulet Titan up a game over Boggles currently.
Yeah, Michael, pretty incredible story. He's a judge and playing this weekend. Hundreds of matches under his belt with Amulet Titan.
Yeah, he's been a judge for 4 years, I think he told us. And I went over to kind of like the judges area, and I grabbed a piece of candy, and I came back and was eating it through the feature match area. He goes, "Where'd you get that?" I'm like, "Oh, it's the judges stand." He's like, "Well, I'm a judge. They should give me one."
Nice.
I think it's cool to see judges doing well at Magic events too, get a chance to kind of take a break and play. Especially with the deck that, you know, it's kind of something of a zombie. You thought it was dead, but it's back.
I mean, you look at this top 8, we're down to 4 players left out of a tournament that was capped. You know, a tournament that had at least 1,800 people here. And 2 of the 4 remaining decks in this tournament are Krark Clan Ironworks combo and Amulet of Vigor combo. And the other 2 decks are Burn and Boggles. So, you know, if you're looking for a format where you can do what you want to do and do well, look no further than Modern in its current, you know, iteration.
Yeah, definitely some surprises here in our top 8. That's for sure. Taking a look at what decks did well this weekend, making it into day 2. Affinity, nearly 10% of the field here on day 2. 33 decks. Humans was second most present at about 8% with 27 copies in day 2. Hollow One was third with 21 at 6%. Taking a look here at the metagame breakdown, Jund was next up, had about 20 copies in day 2. Mardu Pyromancer, 19 copies, followed by Burn, 16. Jeskai Control, 15, and Boggles, 12.
Wow. Really surprising to see Affinity up there doing that well. That's a deck that a lot of people have been kind of knocking as of late for the last few months. Not many people wanting to play Affinity. I think after the Pro Tour there was a lot of Lantern hate. And
oh, yeah.
The Lantern hate and Affinity hate kind of overlapped, so people were willing to have, you know, upwards of 5 cards in their sideboard for matchups like that. And now it's gone down to 2, you know. And as a result, we're starting to see Affinity decks really do well again. And the oscillation of how many cards somebody's going to put in their sideboard for particular types of matchups in Modern often dictates what a good deck choice will be for any particular weekend.
A lot of people very scared of Lantern coming out of that Pro Tour here. Matt Nass going to take a mulligan. Gene Friedman, feel like he's made up his mind, but I'm not sure to keep. Looks like it. Perhaps some over-sideboarding being done. Worried about Lantern, which, to be fair, is a very good deck to be scared of.
Yeah, although it is a deck that it doesn't matter how good Lantern gets, you're never going to go to a tournament where Lantern is more than 5% of the tournament,
no.
Like,
Takes
there aren't
a very
enough
specific
people.
Player to play Lantern.
Yeah.
Either somebody who likes the feeling of others' pain, is somebody who, you know, is really into that style of deck. I'm being a little facetious, but it takes quite a lot of mastery because you have to be able to play it fast enough to not draw every single round.
It's like one of those people who in 5th grade, when they're like, what do you want to be when you grow up? They're like, I want to work at the DMV.
All right, here we go. Game 2 in our semifinals between Matt Nass and Gene Friedman. Ironworks combo versus Burn. We're going to start things off with the Goblin Guide for Friedman. Back over to Nass. Revealed a Chromatic Star.
And one of the best possible starts there for Gene.
All right, we've got the star on the table as well as the opal.
It looks like Gene has the Eidolon.
All right, we're just going to see exactly how painful this is for Matt Nass to stay on the table there.
Yeah, we talked about it before. Gene picking up and reading Buried Ruin. It's the card that taps for a colorless mana, and you can pay 2 and tap it and sacrifice it to return an artifact from your graveyard back to your hand. This was one of the big innovations that Matt Nass had in this KCI-style deck. At the Pro Tour, Buried Ruin was not a part of the deck. People were playing other, weird utility lands, and Matt decided to replace those with Buried Ruin, and it ended up working out very well for him.
All right, here we go. Eidolon and the Great Revel from Gene Friedman, trying to stop Matt Nass pretty dead in his tracks. Let me tell you, he plays a lot of spells with converted mana cost 3 or less.
And it looks like Matt Nass has drawn or had a copy of Galvanic Blast, which is, another way to get this Eidolon off the table.
Okay, we're going to sack this, draw a card. And here we go, Galvanic Blast. We'll take care of the Eidolon. Another star here for Matt Nass. So out of the woods a little bit for now.
Still life total dwindling a bit.
Let's see what else Gene Friedman can add to the battlefield or the table right now. Monastery Swift Spear. Rift Bolt on suspend. Burn wants to go fast, but I doubt it's ever wanted to go this fast.
Yeah. And I think Gene may be out of gas at this point. I think that his hand may just be 2 lands now. Oh, no, there's a Skullcrack there.
Okay, Matt Nass down to 11. Eidolon off the table very, very critically.
4:30 p.m. sealed players, your pairings for round 3 are on their way. Once again, 4:30 p.m. sealed pairings for the next round.
This has traditionally been a very dangerous turn for anybody playing against Matt Nass this whole tournament.
Yeah.
Let's see what he can do. There's a Pyrite Spellbomb in hand. Saw him pick off a bunch of elves with that earlier in this top 8 before he killed the elves player.
Yeah, Matt Nass, I like his line here, using the engineered explosives to turn on the Mox Opal, then filtering through that mana, seeing if it's possible to go off here. If not, he has the insurance plan of sacrificing his engineered explosives for 1 and getting the Goblin Guide and Monastery Swift Spear off the table, meaning that it's pretty unlikely that he'll die in the following turn.
You saw Matt Nass there kind of do a little grimace. Can I make it happen? Ancient Stirrings.
Oh, and this is very dangerous here.
Why do you say that?
Well, now he doesn't have the mana online right now to sacrifice this explosives. He got that Buried Ruin, so he's going to go ahead and do that. But I imagine that means he probably already has some amount of combo in hand. And with only the Opal and no Metalcraft, it's going to be hard to go off next turn.
All right, we pass the turn back over to Friedman. Matt Nass down to 8. We know the Skullcrack in hand for Friedman.
Well, it looks like Matt's going to get a couple of extra turns now because there's no card in Gene's deck that just does 5 right out of the all by itself. With 2 more turns, I imagine Matt's going to be able to find a way to win this game.
Vicar Wellspring here for Nass. We'll draw him a card. Doesn't look like much, but every card in this deck, a key piece of a pretty intricate puzzle. Spell Bomb. Down, draw.
And I think Matt was pretty happy to hit a land drop there.
Another Wellspring, another draw.
And I mean, even something as small as a single copy of Corkline Ironworks now could send Matt into crazy go-off win the game mode. Gene Friedman just thinning out his library here a little bit, searching for a land, putting it on the battlefield. Won't need that mana for anything, has the Skullcrack in hand. Nothing in his deck will cost this much mana, but by having one less land in his deck, he's more likely to draw more action. And he really needed to draw something like an Eidolon or a Rest in Peace there. He did not.
Kind of ran out of gas, as you said, a little bit early in this game. Yeah, nothing there. Matt Nass back over to his turn. I feel like this might be lights out here for Friedman.
Yeah, it could very easily be game over at this point.
All right, we have an update from our Amulet Titan Boggles match. Michael Mapson on Amulet Titan is able to take it down.
Wow. So all that hard work pays off. 2 months, a league on Magic Online every single day, finds himself in the finals of a Grand Prix that was capped for attendance.
Well done to him. Congratulations, Michael Mapson. Great run for Kellen Pastore, playing my pet deck, and my choice to take the whole thing down, so I'm out of it now. Only Rich is in it here, but Gene would have to make a massive comeback in this game.
And having drawn a land last turn, Gene can't even win with another draw step here, so Matt's going to have at least one more turn beyond this. He doesn't know that, though. He,
sure.
If I'm in Matt's seat, I feel a lot of pressure to win on this turn right now.
Explosives here from Matt Nass. 4-2. And it'll be possible we have two different complicated combo decks in our finals.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of exciting that the finals of the Modern Tournament, after, it comes in and people are like, oh, finally this crazy format's been solved, the humans, Hollow One, Boggles, and then the finals is Ironworks and Amulet Titan.
I don't think anybody would have ever called that.
Like, here, let me blow your mind real quick.
Not a great draw there for Friedman.
So Matt sacrificing engineer explosives for 2, destroying a bunch of his own permanents there.
Bye.
Is going to use this Mirror Retriever to return a Chromatic Star to his hand, then going to draw a card off both of these Ichor Wellsprings dying. So by sacrificing that, yeah, he destroys a bunch of his own permanents that weren't doing anything, but he draws 3 cards in the process. Not too often against Burn that you get this much time, but Gene has drawn a lot of lands, and Matt has been careful to take advantage.
I want to ask kind of a general question about this deck. It involves obviously a lot of artifacts, which traditionally can be pretty susceptible to some sideboard hate in Modern. Why do you think this deck can survive that? So
when you're playing this deck, you don't care if somebody kills your artifacts. That's absolutely fine for you. Part of your plan is to sacrifice your artifacts. Your deck will just return them back to the battlefield. If they try to destroy your Corkline Ironworks, they can't respond to you activating a Corkline Ironworks because it's a mana ability. You can just start going off through your deck. You can just play another one. It's a deck where I think a lot of people over sideboard. They start bringing in a whole bunch of artifact removal, assuming that it will be good, and it's not very good at all.
How do you feel about Stony Silence?
Stony Silence is absurd.
Okay.
They can basically never beat that card.
All right, great. I'm safe. Whew. The thing is, it's just insanely fast, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times you just don't have time to even play a Stony. There is the Ironworks, and there is the Scrap Trawler.
And, you know, he didn't have a ton in play, so he may not actually be able to go infinite here. But with a Buried Ruin, getting back a Mirror Retriever, it seems like the lights are out. This Mirror Retriever can be sacrificed. That sacrifice, it can use the Scrap Troller trigger to return a star. The Retriever itself can return an Ichor Wellspring. So that Retriever will then represent, you know, another 3 cards. Then he has another Buried Ruin that can get back another Mirror Retriever, which can represent another 3 cards. And if he's drawing a total of, he also has Opals in the graveyard, so he's also generating tons of mana through doing all of that. So he's going to be drawing, you know, around 8 cards, producing tons and tons of mana just through the Buried Ruins that he has on the table. I think Matt Nass is fine here. He's going to find a way to win.
Taking a step away from the table, perhaps to talk to a judge. Not really sure. Well, he's gone. I want to ask about the consistency of this deck. That's what you often have to kind of wonder when you're playing a combo deck. How good is it at doing its thing?
So I think because Ancient Stirrings exists, a deck like this can exist. The deck plays a lot of cantrips, so it's very good at getting through the library. It has a lot of velocity. It sees a very high percentage of the deck over the course of time. But I think that it's absolutely necessary to have as powerful of a card selection tool as Ancient Stirrings in order for decks like this to be possible.
Do you think without Ancient Stirrings it doesn't exist?
You could play it. I don't think it would be nearly as strong. I mean, imagine Ponder where you're able to look at your top 5 cards. And this card is absurd. It's like better than Impulse in the decks that play it.
I've never thought about it that way.
It costs less mana, you know? It costs less mana and does more. Yeah.
All right, so Matt Nass back at the table, continuing the line here.
Yeah, so that Mirror Retriever was sacrificed to return a star and an Ichor Wellspring, as we expected it would be. The star can be sacrificed, returning an Opal. And so it netted 1 mana. The Opal will net 3 mana through the process with the Ironworks and the Trawler. Then that extra 3 mana, he can produce a green or a red, whichever he feels like. Then a couple more colorless. And now he has another Buried Ruin, access to that, if he wants to draw another 3 cards and produce another however many mana.
Wow.
Via another Mirror Retriever.
Yeah, Matt Nass just totally going off here. Somebody in chat asks, can we start giving combo decks breakfast names again? So Egg's a famous combo deck. If Ironworks got a breakfast name, I'm going to suggest Fork, as it is made of many artifacts.
Grape Nuts. Nice. Yeah.
Oh, Rashad.
Yeah, you know, I feel like Cheerios kind of brought that tradition back a little bit this weekend.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You know?
Cheerios was here this weekend. We saw that deck on cam.
Yeah.
2 copies in day 2.
Yeah, somebody was 11-2 with that deck.
Cast iron skillet works.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I do like the idea of Fruit Loops, too, because it is generating a loop.
That's true. It is generating a loop.
Unfortunately, I don't know how fruit fits into it, but the loop part I'm in for.
Well, fruit is colorful, and Mox Opal produces all 5 colors of mana.
There you go. Steel Cut Oats also suggested. Great suggestion.
Steel Cut Oats is my pick. That's really good. Whoever came up with that, you're a genius. Yeah, so this Ironworks is going to allow Matt Nass to return the Mirror Retriever, and the Mirror Retriever will allow Matt to return the Ironworks, and then the Mirror Retriever will also net a bunch of mana through its, you know, Trawler hitting the star, which will then hit the Opal. You know, to type what happens through the combo, it would require 1,500 words.
Oh, so if you have an essay due tomorrow, there is a quick workaround.
Yeah. You're home free.
Skull crack. All right. There's the handshake. Matt Nass over Gene Friedman with Burn. Ironworks combo is moving on to our finals here, where it will face Amulet Titan in the hands of Michael Mapson. Congratulations to Gene Friedman on a great run. Matt Nass as well, making it into the finals. Team shorts. Who needs pants when you can wear shorts? That's what Matt Nass says every time he plays Boggles, probably. into our finals. There's a look at our top 8 bracket here at Grand Prix Hartford. So it's time, JVL, our last, almost second to last, card of the match. What do you pick?
I'm going to have to go with Cork-Klein Ironworks again.
I mean, straightforward. That's the card that does it all. There you see it on your screen. Cork-Klein Ironworks, and we're assembling all of our cards of the match from this weekend into one graphic, so you can kind of get a story of the whole tournament, which is pretty cool. Cork-Klein Ironworks, of course, chosen as the card of the match, I think, once before.
Yeah, I think the very last round.
Wow, what a card and what a deck. What do you make of this thing? Are people going to be picking this up, Jake?
I don't know. It didn't seem like anybody picked it up after Matt Nass top-8'd in GP Phoenix with the deck. I didn't see anybody with it when I looked around. But here, Matt Nass now in the finals of a GP after having just top-8'd the last modern GP with the deck. I imagine we're going to be seeing a little more KCI in our near future.
Certainly sending a message there. All right, well, stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Your finals are coming up. Amulet Titan versus KCI.